So, welcome back. Little update video to our memes. There was a lot of price action this week, especially Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. As always, I'm using this method here for all my tracking. If you want more explanation to this, just watch the weekly recap video for Sunday, from Sunday, or wait for the new one, which I will make this video. There I really go step by step to everything of this. I will show today Bad Buff and Beyond, DGT, GNS, AMC, and KOSS. And I'm always in most cases showing the bullish version and the bearish one. Right now, most of them already decided which version it is. So let's see. Just one thing for explanation. You won't hear anything about hedge funds, shorts liquidated, dark pools, face to delivers, because it doesn't matter at all. I know beams, short squeeze, but for me, I'm just saying they all look good for getting their move, but I don't call this move which coming after the low a short squeeze. And you will see that later when I show that. This version, this method is working, and it doesn't matter what the hedge fund is doing or not. You can backtest me. Just watch the other videos what I said. Was I wrong or not? And the next thing is, you won't hear from me next week. 100% confidence and all that bullshit. Okay, let's start with Bad Buff and Beyond. The bullish and the bearish. So here is the bullish version. The thing is, I already said that in the last updates. I'm only showing this to have an alt, because in my opinion, you always have them. It doesn't matter how good it looks and how convinced you are that this version is the absolute right version. You should always have an alternative, always. So here the bull version of this. This here is 2020. This was your low point, your V. Here's your higher low. Then you go to your A with the A pullback, your B, and you got your top, your C. Then you're doing your lower high. It's the first one. Then you're dropping under the low where your lower high started. This was your midpoint. Also perfect. The M point is connected to your B. And you fell from your A point. You touch this trend line, you bouncing on it. Then you fall under it. Then you try to get over it again, but you reject. One time you were able to get over it, but you didn't stay over it. You fall under it, and then you reject 2 last times this trend line, and you fall down to your new low, a new low to your M, and then the T, the last time to sell, you fall to your perfect P and A, the bottom of your A landmark. So for the bullish version, and then high low, and everything starts over and over again. So we are looking now for our next A, our next B, and our next C. And most of the time, or quite always, your A is at a little bit over or a little bit under your T line. Same for your B. Most of the time, it's a little bit over, at, or a little bit under the B line. So for the bullish version, the last peak we made was our A. So let's look a little bit closer. Here, this peak, this right side was your A for the bullish version. And then it becomes tricky. Because for the bullish version, you should have bounced already 2 weeks ago. You should have bounced here. And you should have bounced $1 ago. Normally, you have 2 ways. Your A peak has 2 points where it can bounce. The first one is the 0.5 fib from your low, your V and the A, to the A peak. So this is this here. It's okay to break it a little bit. That's why I said, okay, here could have been the perfect bounce. We came up. The only thing we should have done is holding a higher low here. We break under it again. So the 0.5 is that. The second one is the little V under A. What I mean with this peak is your big A, and at the same time, your little c. Okay, so this here would be your little b. And here is your V under A, a big one, same little v. This here is your higher low. So this here is your little a. The last chance for bad above and beyond is this no-no line. So that this bullish version is still working. And that would mean you would do a V under A here. So you would go down, go a little bit, and to really say a little bit, under 5.63. That is then your V under A. Right, let's delete this here. Then you're doing a higher low. Because I will show that also on AMC, for example. We are not squeezing from the low or running or however you call it. You always need to do a higher low. It can happen like here, V higher longer. It can happen, for example, that you're doing your V and go up straight. Okay, but then your higher low is still in this candle. But most of the time you're doing your higher low. So you're doing a higher low here, and then you go up. For bullish confirmation, everything over 967 is bullish. And then your next target is B at $36. So let's say 5.54 is really our V. Okay. So then our on B, the next peak is $36. And then again, you take your 0.5 to your 36. And this will be your pullback target. You will go up, hit your peak at B, and then you pull back to 14-ish. And that's your bottom for B. And then the only question is, are you breaking all-time highs or not? And again, this 0.5 hip, you can break a little bit. In this case, if this is true, it will most likely be just a break or retest of this 4-year trend line. And then, as I said, you're rejecting the all-time high or you go over it. Okay. So your last chance for bad above and beyond for the bullish version is 565. So now to the bearish version. Here's the bearish version. And it's not only because of the price level why I think that this version here is the right one. And to say that clearly, this is only called the bear version because it will take some time. Because I think you will see these levels for the bull version and the bear version. The only thing which is changing for the bear version is that our last week peak wasn't A, it was T. The last time to sell before you go to your V. And you already see that my beer line here, this line here was my beer line. This is the line where I say I don't really look at the bullish version anymore because I'm quite convinced that we're doing the bear version. Sorry. So here is our no-no line. This is the same or V and A for the bullish version. And in my opinion, we will break under this quite quick. Maybe, in my opinion, I will show that later, we will gap down over this. And our next target would be two things. First, if this is T, we have to do really 100%. We have to go under 358. For the not so bearish version, something higher than 2020. So you would come down here, make your V and A, higher low, and we go. Or we have to do a new all-time low. You go down, V and A, higher low, and you go. And I'm saying it's not bearish, not in the long term, because if you're doing higher low to 2020 or new term, doesn't matter really down here. But we will go up then again. I'm not tracking this that this will die. This will just take a little a bit more time. And down here is your perfect, no financial advice, of course, but down here is your perfect entry for your run to A, which is at 1261, and then your B, which is at 37. And to say that, this version also makes more sense in my tracking because your A is normally the breakout. Your A is not normally in the trend line. It isn't. I have that on so many tickers. Normally your A is here. So whatever you're doing, all-time low or higher low, you will do a higher low. You will break out. That is then your A peak. We could even look. So for this to be true, will all-time low be enough? Yeah, depends how quick we are going. Well, let's see. So you will do your V, high, low. Then this is your new A, which should be around 12. It can be a little bit higher, a little bit lower. Then you just make a breakout retest, and then you go to a B. It's matching way better than a bullish version. So, but if I like how it looks like or not, doesn't matter. One last thing, why I think it's this version. We are doing the same move like in 2020. You're coming down from your M. You're coming down from your M. You have here one bounce. This is this bounce here. Then you fall to your low. Then you fall to your low. Then you come up again. Then you come up again. Then you are doing an M. But that's not an M. You're doing an M or W pattern. However you want to draw it. It's the same here. You're doing an M or a W pattern. Then the important part, the right side is the highest point. The same here. The right side is the highest point. And then you drop. Then you drop. So the only thing we are missing here is this gap here. That's the only landmark we are missing, the gap here. And you could even say here, you go a little bit sideways, falling channel-ish. That would be exactly this here. I expect maybe already next week the gap down. Let's see. Okay. What is next? GNS. So for GNS we only have one tracking. Yeah. The bullish version. So for GNS, you see here, you come down, come up again, that's your lower high. You make a new low to your L. This is your midpoint. You fall even lower. This is your T. And then you do your V and higher low. So for GNS, we already broke our trend line and we already made our A peak. And since the last weeks, we were doing the A pullback. If the A pullback is finished, which it really looks like, your next target would be 693. And then are you breaking all-time highs or not? To say that, there is also another version where this was your lower high and your M would be this. Then your B would be at $88. But just saying, it doesn't matter. Because if you were tracking GNS, it's always doing the same. It's doing a V and then it runs. And if it's finished with its high low and it's A, it's running to C. V, high low, run. V, high low, run. Here, high low, run. So I am not expecting something like this. I'm expecting something like this. If it's one day or a week, doesn't matter. I don't think we gap up because you perfectly see always the lines. I know it's okay. Let's look regular hours. Yeah, we won't gap up to this range. We will run to this range. But for me, it doesn't matter if B is down here or up here. We will come up here. Or if we're doing all-time highs or not, doesn't matter. So, what have we done last week? Or the last weeks in general. So, here's our V, higher low. And we did our A, our B, and our C, our little ones. And then we were doing the pullback. I had two versions of this. Because this, and I would not be already too high. No. So the old version would have been that this wasn't our V, and we still have to go to 60 cents because here is our V and A. With this breakout, in my opinion, this version is gone. Why? Why can't you say this was now your T? Just because this is clearly your little m, and we broke over it. So in my opinion, your next target is 7, at least, for this stock. And I showed this here on Thursday. Just to prove that I'm not talking bullshit, you could watch the video from Thursday, or I will just show it right now. For the absolute bullish version, which is really bullish, okay? So, for the absolute bullish version, this was your V. Somewhere in here is your higher low. This peak here was your little a. And if this was little a, You take from the bottom to the top a 0.5 and look where we bounce today. Perfectly. If this is holding, we are finished. Just saying. Then we are finished. Our next target to break would be 92 cents, but then it's bullish. Your next target is at least $7. And this candle here, we did Friday after us. Of course, because GNS is doing Citadel, Virtu, and the other one. Yeah, that's the news. But how could I know that before they were suing them? So, yeah. In my opinion, that's not working anymore. Pulling back isn't working. We already did our breakout retest. We are now way too high. We are over MNT. In a very bad version, this would be M, but I don't think so. I think this thing is done and ready to go. Okay. Next one is DGT. Where's my DGT? Yeah. So I had two versions for DGT, the bearish and the bullish one. They are completely different. The bullish version was this here, where you already made 3 fractals and you would have been in the 4th one right now. And for the bullish version, you should have bounced here. So this bullish version is now once and for all dead. But the bearish version is looking bearish. It's looking way better. Simply as that. So for the bearish version, we're just doing 1 fractal, and we are in the finish line. So for a short explanation, this is your WC. You fall down to your L. You make a lower low than your L, coming up again. This is your midpoint. Then you're making a lower low to your M, come up again. This is your last time to sell before you go to your V. Only question is, in this case, are we doing a higher low to our low from IPO, or do we need a new all-time low under this? That's the only question. But again, the only way, in my opinion, this how you play this is, we are waiting now for our V. Could be this. Then we are waiting for the confirmation that the higher low is coming. So the higher low. And then you go. So let's say this here is our V. Then just wait for a higher low. And then you go. Your next target for your A is 56. So if this was our V, we are waiting for the high low, then we go to our A, most likely in a fucking quick way. Your A is at 57, then you will do A pullback, most likely a breakout retest of this line, then your B, 0.5 pullback, C. That would be the normal way. But on IPO and all the other, because this is just a big tracking. In all these candles, you have your little V, high, low, A, B, C, lower, high, midpoint, T. And then the tiny one on lower time space, even though. But if you look at all these runs, they were quite quick. So we could do this, or we really just going very quickly up and you don't see these pullbacks. Yeah. What did I miss? Yeah. That's what for the, and the question is, are you breaking all-time highs or not? for this run doesn't really matter. Yeah. Okay. Next one, AMC. Bullish and bearish. Thing is, they are both the same right now, because the bullish version. I will just show it. So, for the overall thing, the first thing we are looking at, this is a big microphone, a megaphone, or however you call it, pattern. You saw this? It's starting in 2020. You touch it one time. The low before we ran was not touching this trend line again, and then you went up to the highest point of this megaphone. So I would expect we touched this megaphone in April 2024. In my opinion, we won't touch it the second time. So we won't come down here. But for price targets, in my opinion, it's quite easy to say that your next run will end somewhere here. Depends how quick. I am looking for December till March. I would say I'm looking for a 2-part squeeze, to say that absolutely clearly, not a 1-part squeeze. I think you have a good chance that our first part is December to end of January, your second part March to June. But the end target should be here, somewhere between 600 and 850, which is fucking crazy. So 2020 was clearly your V. You did your higher low here. Here's your higher low. And I will show that for AMC, for really, you see that on many other stocks too, but for AMC, I am 99% convinced you are not squeezing from the low. And we won't do it. For AMC, we need a higher low. We need it. And I also show you something interesting later. Everyone who is telling you we are at all-time low now. Now it's next week. No. I really can say that to 99%, AMC is not squeezing from all-time low. It always is squeezing from high low. In the past, always. So for 2020, here our January run, this was our A. Then a pullback. And in the June run, somewhere in here is your B. Most likely it's this. And then you got it up. The next thing you did was a lower low. This was your lower high. Then again you did a lower low to your L. This was your M. And then, wait, it was like this. Yeah. Then you fall down, made a lower low for then your M. This was your last time to sell before you get your V. The thing is, for the bullish version, this was your all-time low. And since April, we did the higher low. Yeah, okay. So since last week, this higher low is gone. So this is still V under A, but it's not the V under A. So we made the all-time low in the last days. This is your V under A to this, and it's also V under A to this. So when this is finished, and I'm saying when, not if, when this is finished, your next target for your A is 76, and for your B, 151. So whenever this is finished, what I expect, because, okay, we saw this here too, we won't do something like this. No. We will run. So let's say really this Friday was the bottom, okay? Then we are doing higher low. I will show that separately then. So let's see our higher low is ending at, I don't know, $2.33. Then we're running to $76 for our first part squeeze. Then we just take the 0.5 from the bottom to your peak. If it's 80 or 100, doesn't matter. This will be your first part. And your pullback target is $13 then. I know, it's crazy. But the thing is, we did here the same. We did here absolutely the same. So, then you're here at the button. And most likely you will just play these landmarks here. Blah, 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 blah. And then you go to your B. So, normally, as I showed in the other stocks and also on DGD and GNS, you would do now a 0.5 pullback from your A bottom. Give me my fib. So, to your B. And you would do pullback here. And then you go to the C. But we didn't do that in the first part. We didn't do that in April. We didn't do that in May. So this A pullback, I'm really pretty convinced we will do that. But from this pullback, we just go to our all-time highs, in my opinion. Okay, so next thing. What I was meaning about, we are not going from UV. So let's look at this. We have three perfect, not only three, four. We have four perfect examples for this. So, nope. Here, 2020. We made our V. Higher low. And then we run. And also something, I'll show that later. Then before we did our T, because this was also that run, we made our V. Higher low. And then we run. May 2024. We made our V. Higher low. And then we run. 2025. We made our V. Higher low. Then even a channel up and then we run. There is no way that, this could be V, okay? So we could have made our V this Friday. But we are not squeezing out of here. If any if anybody is telling you next week, 100%, he is not lying. He just has no clue. No. And the next thing, because I already saw that, is this time it will be different. And in the same sentence, he's showing, we did this landmark, this landmark, this landmark. That's why we are in this spot and that's why we are squeezing. So this time is different, but still we are using the landmarks of the past. There's two ways. We're repeating fractals, we're repeating the same pattern over and over again. Perfect. Then we need a higher low. Or we're saying this time is different, but then you can't use the fractals of the past. You can't mix these two things. And what I've meant with something interesting, could be something, don't have to be something. So if we look from our all-time low in January 2021, how long it took to finish our higher low. It was 10 days. So next thing is, how long did it took in May 2024? It took exactly 24 days. How long did it took in 2025? It took 26 days. And to say that, I'm using this because here already A is starting. This is from here to here. This is clearly your high low. So 9 days, the first one, because it was the shortest one. So yeah, this one was the shortest one, and we are the repetition of the fractal is quite always slower. So this was 9 days. This here was 24 days. This right now is 26 days. So you could say 26 to 28 days. It's just a theory. 26 to 28 days is needed for your next higher low. So if that on Friday was our true all-time low, 26 is December 10, Wednesday, which is quite funny because on Wednesdays, December 10, the shareholder meeting is taking place. So yeah. And if you say 28 days, because it's getting slower and slower, 28 days is Friday, December 12th. And AMC is always running Friday, Monday. So I would expect if this is our true low, I would expect December 15. At December 15, you have a good chance to see your first part. If you touch or break 225 again, then this is your new low. And then you could make the same thing, adding 26 to 28 days and always doing the same. But I mean, you can do whatever you want, and it's not financial advice. Wait for the higher low to form. Wait for it. And to say this, it's just a little rant. If anybody, especially some YouTubers who are charging money to be wrong since 5 years, and saying January contracts are absolutely safe, it's stupid to say something like that. But okay. Last one. KOSS. The bullish and the bearish one. I don't know if you want to see the bearish one, but it shouldn't really matter because KOSS, AMC, DGT, and GME should run at the same time. So yeah. For the big overview, KOSS right now is in its big SPY. So from 1970 to 1984, this was just your high low. And from 1985 to 2020 was just your A. It's a really big ticker, which is really slow moving. And from March till today, it's just our B. And we are in the B pullback right now. So whenever the B pullback is finished, your next one is your grade C. And the C is going over B. So anything over 170 is the target for KOSS. For the small tracking, B is already in its second little fractal. But my opinion is it's not finished yet. That's also why I think that AMC and GME still needs more time. Not much, but still needs more time. Because if you look at this, you had your V in April 2024, then you did your ABC, and you're in the pullback. Two ways. So the absolute bullish variant would be that you're already in the breakout. That would mean you're coming from your little C, lower high, midpoint here, and this was already a perfect V under A. And right now, you're forming the higher low. Or in a great version, or you could say in the tiny tracking, this is your higher low, and this is already A. And you will in the A pullback. Would that work with 0.5? No. So, for this version to be true, this would be just higher low. You're not allowed to break under 432. If you're breaking under 432, the old version is taking place, and that would mean that this was your T, is working perfectly, and you're still looking for your V and A. And this has to be something under 353. You have to go under this here. So, yeah. Then higher low, and then you go. The thing is, that would, if you're not really knife down here, I mean, how much would this be? Yeah, 25%. If you're not really knifing, this could take time. So I would more lean to the bullish version. That this was already your A. And the only thing you have to do is staying over 433. And then it will go the same time. AMC and GME will go. For the bearish version, just for an alt, because you always should need an alt. And what if the sync this time isn't working? Yeah. For the alt, KOSS is still in its A. Not in its B, still in its A. And yeah, we didn't even made T for the old version. And that would mean you need a new low under 226, then coming up again to this trend line, and then even going lower. The thing, I have this as an alt, but the thing is, I'm not really scared about the price targets, because would be a good entry. But if we are doing this, this will take at least 5 years. So yeah, I'm not thinking it's this. I think it's this, and we should be finished. But again, for AMC and all the others, we need a higher low. It's not next week, and it's not the week after. The first chance you have is December 15. Okay. Except GNS. Okay, because GNS is already finished and run, in my opinion. Okay. If you have questions, write it into the comments. I say that always in the other playlist. If you have wishes for other stocks to look at, you can just write it in the other playlist, because this playlist is only memes. The other playlist is for all other stocks. And backtest me. Watch the videos and look if I'm talking bullshit. But the tracking is absolutely perfect. Okay. If you liked it, maybe give me a like. Okay. So, see you next time.